Let's try this again. Hello and hello, all my cruising and travel friends. It's Rob here from Cruising on the High Seas and Travel. Today we are talking about the last part of the story of my first cruise I had at the beginning of the year on the Norwegian Getaway, about getting there and all the experiences that led up getting to the cruise that almost did not happen because of finding the way to get there. And yes, we had reliable transportation and all that fine jazz, but unfortunately there were hiccups along the way. So, first things first, we are going to play a promo as people enter into the stream. So, here is the promo.
The Booze Cruise 3.0, hosted by Rob from Cruising on the High Seas and Travel. Ports of call: Costa Maya, Mexico; Roatan, Honduras; Belize City, Belize; Cozumel, Mexico; out of Tampa, Florida; Costa Maya, Mexico; Roatan, Honduras; Belize City, Belize; Cozumel, Mexico. Aboard the Grandeur of the Seas out of Tampa, Florida. Sailing October 25 to November 1, 2025. Book today for this amazing sailing with any travel agent.
And yes, that is the Booze Cruise 3.0 on the Grandeur of the Seas. So we hope we can get as much people on this fantastic cruise, and hopefully that cruise does not have the same story that this one did. So for the ones that need to be caught up to speed, is that we had a cruise on the Norwegian Getaway out of the port of New Orleans, and the trip started very rocky. So what ended up happening was we made it to the airport in plenty of time. And once we got checked in, we had to actually put our bags through. But there was a problem with the cost of the bags. They actually double charged us for the bags. So we had to take care of that once we got back home, because I didn't realize that until we got back home. Then we finally made it into Charlotte, because it was a connecting flight. We made it into Charlotte on time, and for our second flight, it was delayed 4 hours, which meant the ship would be pulling out before we got there. So we had to get a hold of the cruise line, tell them what's happening. They had no idea what was occurring. But once they verified what was happening, they had to reroute us to catch up with the ship 2 days later. Yes, 2 days later. So, from Charlotte, we had to go to Atlanta. From Atlanta to Mexico City. Clear customs in Mexico, and then spend the night in the airport because our next flight to our final airport that we had to go to was not until the next morning. So we got to spend the night in Mexico City airport. How many people can say they spent the night in the airport? Unplanned. In mind. Keep that in mind. Unplanned. How many people can say that? So once we finally got onto that final flight to whatever customized airport name is, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it because I know I will butcher it so bad it will be just a plain banana. So once we made it to that airport, we had to spend a night in the hotel because the cruise ship wasn't due to get in until the next day. So we got our transportation to the hotel. Spent the night at the hotel, did a little walking around the street, not too far from the hotel because we didn't want to go too far. We wanted a good night rest, and of course we were tired too a little bit. Went into the pool for a little bit to relax and enjoy, and then get something to eat and sleep. So it's finally the day to get on board the cruise ship. Well, we have to make arrangements to get to the cruise ship now. So we had to hire a private shuttle. Yes, a private shuttle. And it took about two and a half hours just to get from the hotel to the cruise port. So once we finally got to the cruise port, we saw the ship in sight. It's there. Went through all the pain and hassle of them security checking our luggage because, of course, we have our luggage with us. So we check our luggage and open up and all that fun jazz. Got on board. And now we gotta go to guest service to check in. And then once we got to guest service, did our check-in, got our bags met us at the room, all that fun jazz, as it would normally be a normal embarkation day. And then make sure everything's all lined up and proper. We got some money returned back to us because we missed 2 days of the cruise. So that was a big deal for us. So it turned from a 7-day cruise to a 5-day cruise for us. But we still got the 7-day cruise credit. So at least Norwegian still gave us the 7 days. So got my nephew signed up for his teen club, all that fun jazz. Then finally, towards the end of the cruise, not only me, but my mom also ended up getting sick. Mine was like a 24-hour flu or some sort. I don't know what. It probably was something I ate that my stomach didn't agree with. For my mom, it was only like a 24-hour thing. So, and hers was on the last day. Like the day we get off the ship. So, On the way down, we had flight interruptions because of all the mishandle, and American wasn't really all the greatest. They were rude in Toronto, insisting that we have to check in our carry-on bags. There was going to be absolutely no room at all in the overhead compartments. And I was asking, can we check it in? Can we check it in? And of course, they insisted at we do it. But it would only go to Charlotte. Well, I should have took that option because when we end up pulling our bags in Charlotte, because we had to also flip airlines to get to Atlanta, they lost my tech bag, and it was a pain in the butt to try and locate it and get it back. But finally, at the end of the cruise, I was able to obtain to get it back. It was actually sent to New Orleans, and they didn't pull it off the airline. So it sat there for a whole week. Now, of course, I called them and I told them, hey, I'm back there in a week. So just leave it there. Don't send it over to Dallas or wherever their headquarters is. Don't send it there. Leave it in New Orleans. I'll pick it up in a week. So they did that. Not a big deal. But for the extra costs for the hotel, the food, the private shuttle to the cruise port, you would think Norwegian would be paying for that because we booked our airfare through the cruise line. Give me one quick moment. Max is whining. I'll be right back in a moment. You would think they would cover it because you booked your air through the cruise line. Yes, this is my Max. Yes, say hello, Max. So, but because the purpose of booking your air through the cruise line is, heaven forbid, something does go haywire, a situation like this, they would be responsible to getting you to the next port of call at their expense. No, absolutely not. And I see my friend Jeremy down below in the basement. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to rock and roll. And hello, Jeremy. How are you doing?
What's happening?
Not too much. Well, welcome on into the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling all the people in the viewers, I guess right now it would be for the hashtag replay, the situation working my way all the way up to getting to the cruise port
Mm-hmm.
and just catching them up to speed and what eventually the final outcome came to be. So, like I was mentioning, you would think the cruise line would be responsible covering all the extra expenses until you get on board the cruise ship. And I was telling them that is absolutely not the case, especially when you book through the cruise line.
Mm-hmm.
So that extra expenses all came down on us.
Yeah, it did.
the hotel, the food, the transportation, all that. And I'm pretty sure you would be aborting that mission.
Before the as soon as they told us that we wouldn't be able to make the cruise on time, I definitely would have turned back.
Where for us, we just kept on going forward because for me, turning around and going back home, now I'm staying at home in the cold
Right.
when I could be out in the sun paradise. And that's just basically a week's lost of vacation time. So let's just keep hauling forward. But of course, if you have travelers insurance, that might be a situation where they can help you with it, because that would be classified as trip interruption.
Yep.
But unfortunately, there was no travel insurance on this trip. Unfortunately. So we lost all that extra money that should have been paid out.
Yep.
Or at least that we thought would have been paid out. Because they got us to the next protocol at their expense at the last second. Because of course, if you book an airfare at the last moment, you are tend to pay a very good penny for it.
Right.
So that was their way of paying to get you to the next port of call. So then, once the cruise was all over, we still had the mission of obtaining that tech bag.
Yep.
And
that debacle.
Say again?
That debacle.
That debacle.
Yep.
And it was actually fairly simple to obtain that tech bag. I just had to basically give them the ticket number, show them roughly what it looks like, because naturally my carry-on bag is the same thing as that bag. And they literally went, yoink, here you go. Have a nice day.
Yep.
It was that simple. And that bag did not leave my sight. But unfortunately, on the way home, we had a delay in the great state of
Texas.
In Houston. And they actually took better care of us on United Airlines, not American.
Right.
By at least coming around and offering some type of compensation like drink, snacks, all that fun jazz.
Right.
So we got in a little later than planned. And finally, when we got home, we had to, back home in Toronto, we had to arrange a transportation to get from the airport back home. But prior to the trip, I was actually pricing things out of how much it would roughly cost to get from the airport back home, and it was a reasonable price. It was about $80, $90, which is reasonable for the size of a vehicle that we needed. That night, it was just over $200.
Terrible.
Over 200. It was wow. Never again.
Not for a trip across town.
Not for a trip. And
no.
The driver was shocked to hear what the number was. It's like, what? You could even see that he even felt bad that was the price. But now naturally he's going to get a good piece of the pie of it, but maybe $80, $90 off of it. Because, how Uber and Lyft, all them work, they take a decent cut.
Yep.
So we finally got home, and literally, it just basically throw the bags down in the laundry room, and off we go, like to bed.
And start the process all over again for the next one.
And start the process all over again. So eventually, about maybe I would say now, maybe about a couple of weeks later, I finally got a hold of American Airlines and told them that they double charged me for the bags going down, and told them the whole story of getting to New Orleans in brackets,
Right.
and they gave me the process of what I need to do to obtain some money back for the double charge bags. So I did all that, and about 2-3 weeks later, after putting my claim through, they finally reimbursed me the money back for that double charge bags,
Yep.
which is should have never happened because originally it was saying that it did not accept the card payment.
Mm-hmm.
So basically denied. Now, actually, there was money there to pay for it. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a problem on their end, but it still managed to charge the bank. But didn't give me no receipt, no nothing.
Right.
So it took a while just to get all that back. So long story short, if you are flying in the day of, don't
Don't.
do it. It is worth to pay that little small extra and get that hotel night. So if you have a little hiccup like this one, at the very most that you will lose is that hotel night stay.
Mm-hmm.
And you will still, hopefully, still make it to the cruise port on time.
That's right.
So it's not worth it at all. Like pretty much all my upcoming trips that I have planned, we are planning to put a hotel night stay on the front end simply because of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd rather lose a hotel night stay than have to go through this hiccups and have to deal with this situation all over again. But I know you have never had to deal with this situation, but if you did, what would just simply be abort the cruise?
Yes. We would definitely take the hit on the whole cruise because if you can't get me there on time, then it's just not worth it, because I'm used to leaving on time because we prepare to be on time, you know. Um, if for some snafu reason why we don't make it down, like for instance, after the move, we're going to have to drive down and we're driving in the day before because, like we always say, there's going to be snafus along the way, especially on the road. If we have car trouble or, if there's traffic or anything blocking your way, it's best to deal with that the day before than to deal with it on the same day of travel because the cruise ship is not going to wait on you, regardless of if you book your air through the cruise line or not. That doesn't mean that the cruise ship is going to wait on you. What that means is their guarantee is to get you on the ship at some point. That's their guarantee. It's not that the ship is going to wait on you. But just like if you were to purchase an excursion through the cruise line, the ship will wait for you in a foreign country, but not on embarkation day. They got to take off. It's 4,000 other people waiting on you to get there so all of y'all can take off. That's not what they're going to do. They're going to take off and then put you on planes that would get you to the next port, which is what they did with you guys.
Correct.
Their only guarantees that you'll get on the ship, but they didn't guarantee that they'll pay your whole way there, or provide for you any other accommodations whatsoever. So I don't know. It's just best to come in the day before, like Rob said, and find you a place to stay, and then arrange for different transportation to get you to the cruise port on that embarkation day. Now, on the way back, you can book your airport transfer from the cruise port to the airport. That's what we do. Is that we'll book our air in the day before, book our own transportation, or even ask the hotel if they have a shuttle that'll bring us from the airport to the hotel. And then we ask the hotel, do you have some kind of person that we can, get like a shuttle from here to the cruise port? So you always want to make sure that transportation is covered for each leg of the trip the day before your cruise. That way you get a guaranteed ride there and a guaranteed ride back. And there's no stress. Like if there's a oversold flight, or if there is a broken down car or a flat tire or whatever, you're still going to make it there in plenty of time if you leave the day before, or if you arrive the day before.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Because like in our scenario, if you are on we're going to call a fixed income,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going on this trip, it's costing X amount of dollars. I got X amount of dollars for my spending expenses for on the ship and
right,
the port calls, and that's all I got.
Right.
If you have the hiccup like this, it could make or break you.
Mm-hmm.
And you may get stuck in a foreign port. You may you may have to bail out and then have to try and battle out with the cruise line to get your money back.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps get a hold of your travel agent, tell them what occurred, and then they have to go at bat for you to try and get what they can get back for you. Because as a travel agent, I'm pretty sure that would just be a nightmare to deal with.
It would.
And most people, I'm not saying, let me reword that. It wouldn't look good on the travel agent.
No, not at all.
It's because you don't have the senses that you may not want to book with that travel agent again because of that situation. But at the end of the day, we need to remember the travel agent had nothing to do with the issues that occurred. So it's
right.
not their fault. Now, they will do everything in their power to put the pressure on the cruise line saying, no, you need to do this.
Right.
To make things right. Because at the end of the day, okay, yeah, you're only going to lose maybe one customer and you got millions of others. But for me, it can mean more than one customer.
Mm-hmm.
They just do word of mouth. Don't book with such and such.
Right.
They won't do nothing for you if something goes wrong. So it can affect your livelihood.
Yep.
And that's the sad part about it. So like we honestly thought that they are picking up that bill throughout the ride.
The only thing they guarantee is that they're going to get you on the ship. That's it.
That's it.
And that's what they did. They got y'all on the ship.
Mm-hmm. And whatever it costs to get you to that ship after that plane ride,
mm-hmm.
that's what it costs, and it's on you.
Yep.
Meanwhile, if you were on that ship, things would have been covered because you were on the ship. But
yo, Brooklyn in the house.
What's up, Mr. Eddie Lugo Studios?
And baby made it in a while ago. She said she's in pain, otherwise she would be over here.
Yep, I saw that. Welcome on in. Hopefully you will be out of pain shortly. And I see Mr. Eddie Lugo Studios down there. If you're ready to rock and roll, give me a sip.
Yo.
Yo.
I'm giving you a sip. right here.
That's what I said. Give me a sip, and as you're doing it,
¿Qué pasa, dudes?
that's like pasta.
No, ¿qué pasa?
I'm still talking about that flight, man. We're trying to get him to shake it off.
Hey, we're on the last phase. We're shaking it all off.
Yeah, talking about it is the best therapy. So yeah, we that was a traumatic experience. So we're letting him, get all of that off of him. That was bad. 12 hours in Mexico City. Oof.
12 whole hours.
Orale!
Orale. Yes, Canadian Family Life has made it in.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hello.
But yeah, no, hopefully that is the very last experience that we ever have to deal with this disaster.
And remember, it's not on American Airlines, okay? It's not. It is on you guys for assuming that they are going to do what you envisioned that they would do if it were them in your situation. They got you to the ship. That's what they promised, and that's the only thing they promised is that we're going to get you to the ship. But that long debacle, I don't know about that, man. I don't know. Like I said, on the first leg, whenever they said this is going to be delayed and you're not going to make it to the ship on time, I would have turned around. Abort mission, abort cruise. We're not going. No. Because I don't know Spanish. I do not know Spanish. I mean, no speaking no Spanish. I'd be like, where's the tacos and where's the bathroom? Because otherwise we ain't got nothing to talk about. Where's the tacos, man? Because that was it. Yep. And then the crop duster plane they put you on to go to Costa Maya. Me in heights. I don't know if I would have been good, Rob. I don't know. You guys took it like a champ, though.
Yep. Took it like a champ and battle our way through it. It's just another chapter to our cruising addictions.
Yep.
And I know on my upcoming trips, we are planning to do a day before.
Yep. And then on your Australian cruises that you got coming up, as I understand it, you're going in 2 days early, right?
Yes, but no. It depends on how you want to look at it.
Right.
Because
you're leaving 2 days ahead of time, right?
We're leaving 2 days ahead of time, but we're there a day ahead of time.
You're still arriving a day ahead of time because we always said leave a day ahead, right? We should say arrive a day ahead. Plan to arrive a day ahead. Maybe we're all saying it wrong. That's why people are doing it wrong. It's like they may leave a day before, but their idea is, hey, I can get on the cruise, at 10 o'clock in the morning. So let me just wait and pull in a flight that may come in overnight at some point. But it's like we got to start saying it right. I believe we've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
Arrive a day early, whatever that means for you. If that means you got to leave 2 days ahead of time, do it. But make sure you get in your cruise port town a day ahead of time.
1 day ahead, because it's going to take us technically like 2 days just to get into Australia.
Right.
By the time you factor in all the time changes along the way. Because on my way down, I'm going through 2 time changes just to get down there.
Yep. And then you got to think you're traveling into the future. So I would really do some communicating with the airline and say, look, hey, Tuber Chat, what's up?
Word up.
And really get with the airport and be like, okay, this is the day that I need to be embarking on this ship, but I want to come in the day before, I would ask for help and then ask for a second opinion.
Yeah. Because definitely would not want to deal with that situation, especially going down to the future of Australia.
Right. You're traveling into the future for real.
Like, there is such thing as hashtag replay then.
Well, I would rather have the lotto numbers from the day before. That way I can go into the store, play them, and be done. But it's not going to work like that.
No, unfortunately, that's just two different lottery programs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Nah, I'm talking about the big ones, the Powerball and the other one.
the Mega Millions and all that.
Nationwide.
Yep. I know. That would be fantastic if we could have that. Yeah, no, and then a few months after that, we go down to Amsterdam area and jump on another ship over there. Well, we gotta look at getting a hotel night stay over there.
Mm-hmm. You're taking off from Denmark, aren't you?
Denmark.
Yeah. Once again, you're traveling to the past, back in time. Oof, going the other way. I don't know, man. That's really what's hanging me up about going overseas. It's like I don't speak the language, and I know that some signs are written in English, but it's like not all of them. I can't expect everything to be in my language whenever I go over there. So I don't know. It would be nice. And I know that the people on the cruise ship speak English. That's not the whole point. The whole point is getting from the airport to the cruise ship.
Correct.
And then getting back. That's the only time that I see that I'm going to have a real issue, unless the crew on the ship only speak the language in which we're which is multiples. That same cruise itinerary goes from Barcelona to Marseille, over to Naples, then it goes down to Crete or Malta, and then it goes right back up to Barcelona. And they keep running that same thing over and over again. So, yeah, I know. Barcelona is still being discussed. Actually, Rob did a real good "Would you rather" today, and I'm gonna loop you in on this too, Eddie. Would you rather for Booze 5.0? Okay, 2027. If you had to choose between Mexican Riviera or Canada, New England, leaving Boston and meeting up at Cheers before, which would you rather?
I will definitely do Canada in the New England.
Boom.
Now I'm going to throw the loophole that they threw at me. What if it was leaving out of New York? Would that change your opinion?
I'll leave out of New York. I know where I gotta go.
Yeah, he'll leave out of New York. I already knew that one.
In a heartbeat.
Right.
In a heartbeat, my man. In a heartbeat.
And then let's throw in Philadelphia. Would you still change your mind?
You mean Port Philadelphia or
leaving out of Philadelphia on a Canada, New England? Would it sway you to go into the Mexican Riviera because of the debarkation?
I don't want to go west.
You don't want to go west?
No. I'm a little tired of Cozumel and all that already. I'm gonna go there for the technically.
But you're not gonna have Cozumel.
No.
He means Mexico.
I know. Yeah, being Mexico, I'm a little. I'm going there a few more times this year. I think next year we're gonna stop in also. So, back again to Mexico. No, even though it's on the other side on Ensenada, but no, I'd rather go Canada. I've been only to Toronto, so I want to see more of Canada.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been there twice already in Toronto, so Clifton Hills and all that, and the waterfall on Niagara.
Yeah.
So I won't mind, in New York or Philadelphia, I'll leave the car at my daughter's house, and she could take us to the port and all that, so, and then come back and pick us up and all that. So
Cool.
in Boston, I'll drive all the way up there. I drove to New Jersey last year,
Right.
one shot, 18 hours straight. So this will be a 2-day trip because I'll have to stop somewhere and then keep going to Boston. And I haven't been to Boston since 2000 since the dig, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, definitely New England, yes.
Now, I know Jeremy knows the answer, but Eddie, what do you think my answer was?
You'll probably go Ensenada and the other one because you want to go to warm weather.
Jeremy, what was my answer?
I think it was Mexican Riviera.
Yeah.
Not sure. That was a while ago.
That was a while ago, but you're wrong. It was the Canada, New England.
Yeah.
Wow. Surprise.
Yep.
Because I really want to see Canada, New England, especially during the fall.
Yes. Those fall colors is what would bring me in.
Yeah, man in Portland, man is nice.
Yeah.
And also seafood there is great.
And actually, if we stop in Charlotte, if they had an excursion to the Confederation Bridge, which is from the PEI over to New Brunswick. That's for the bridge side. On the PEI side, they have a place called Havacal, and it's really, really good ice cream. So I would definitely go there again just to have a cow.
Okay. Have a cow.
Yeah, have a cow.
And it will be Norwegian? Norwegian Cruise Line?
Pardon me?
Norwegian.
I would do it with any cruise line, but Norwegian would be my favorable one to do it with.
I would rather do Norwegian going up to Canada, New England. I'm thinking Carnival for Mexican Riviera.
We did Norwegian with Mexican Riviera. It was good, but I'm not sure if I would go over to Carnival or Princess or another line.
See, if I could drive as much as possible, that's what I want to do. I want to drive to wherever we're going. The West Coast is out of my hands.
Right.
The farthest I go is Galveston. That's it.
Yeah.
Driving. And then the northern so far has been New Jersey, New York, but I could put in another 8 hours and make it to Boston. But that will be a 2-day drive.
Yeah, and in what port would it be? New Brunswick. If they offered an excursion to Hope Mount Rock,
it all depends on accessibility.
That too. If they offered that, I would definitely do it.
Yeah, because remember, I'm bringing something with me that I got to ride on. Forget if it's going to be a wheelchair or a scooter. So,
right,
it's out there. I'm looking into what to get me. I got till November is the next cruise, so I got till at least the middle of October to get it. So I'm trying to the GoFundMe to pick up a few more bucks if possible. So far, it looks like it has hit a line where it stopped. So far, that's what I got to work with. So definitely, I'm already looking into the budget, how much we'll have to, work for and add it to it. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. I definitely want to hydraulic help. I'm getting a little tired of this walker thing that I use, and it's getting me tired.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's helping with the exercise by walking and all that, but at the same time, it gets me tired when I'm, like a big ship. Like the Harmony really got me good because this is a big ship, and I did walked a lot there.
Yep.
So yeah,
Okay, that must be from Jeremy's side.
yep. Somebody getting spat.
Someone's getting a speak here. But yeah, no, if they offered an excursion to Hope Mount Rock, I would definitely do that. Be able to walk on the ocean floor.
Oh, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, if
Walk
you
on the
go
ocean floor.
over, if you go over to my Instagram side, I believe it is, you'll see a video of me walking on the ocean floor.
Nice.
Yeah, and it honestly, it just blew my mind away. Like, my mom took me there a few years ago, and I didn't realize that we could walk from the north side to the south side, and it takes 12. I think 12 hours to come in and then go back and then come back out. So, or is it 6? Must be 12 hours. But it goes out so far you can walk it and then it comes back in at nighttime. So
Okay.
it's really, really cool. So, but yeah, no, who knows? Maybe 5.0 might be a Canada New England cruise. You never know.
It might.
It still has not been determined.
I'm trying to keep it stateside, y'all. I really am.
But if you get Miss Cheryl on the case, you all know where she's going.
Barcelona.
Barcelona on the MSC Road of Asia.
No. The World Asia actually adds $1,000 to the trip. You can get the same round trip Barcelona 7-day cruise on the MSC. She said it a while ago. Fantasia. MSC Fantasia does that same cruise for $1,000 less. Same 3 people. Yeah, I'm serious. The world class ships are just charging more because they can. But if you go on a little bit older ship, then you can save that way. And hey, with an international flight that could be upwards of $6,000, you got to think, do I really want to spend this extra grand just to be on a world class ship? My answer is no, because then that $1,000 could cover gratuities. It could cover, some specialty dining or even internet if we so desire and may need to check into our flights. You never know where that extra could be used for. And it's always good to save it on the front end than to try to recover it on the back end. So I looked at all cruises leaving Barcelona, and that one came across as $1,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
Yep. And you're going to the same ports. It's the same cruise. Why not get it cheaper?
The only thing is, it will be just a smaller ship.
Which is better. Yes. I believe smaller ships are more stable on the water. I don't know why. Unless they come out with a double hull cruise ship. Now, I would definitely get on that sucker because it would be so smooth on the water if it had a double hull. So serious.
Yes, it would. And as Eddie said, he found that the Royal Harmony, it was a lot of walking. And I was looking up a potential cruise and comparing it to a Norwegian ship. And it actually worked out to be about the same type of walking distance it would be on that cruise. So, and because I was telling my mom about it. We've been on the Norwegian Escape.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that wasn't too bad of walking for us. It was about a nice, fairly sized ship. But would I want to go anything bigger? Probably not for a 7-dayer.
It's a lot of walking for sure.
For sure, I would want to see as much as I possibly can on that ship.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Jubilee, it's definitely going to take you more than 7 days just to see everything. Because that's a massive ship.
But the Jubilee is laid out exactly like the Getaway. Okay, deck 6, 7, and 8 go all the way through. The Lido deck goes all the way through. There's a partial wraparound deck 8, I think, and that's it. That's the layout. They stole that layout from Norwegian. They did. So it's like you only got 4 decks that can go across the ship. It just looks big. And all of your major everything is going to be on those 4 decks. So if you can make it around the Getaway easily, you can definitely do Carnival's Excel ships easily. It just may be a little bit longer. That's it.
Yeah. And the reason why they took it from Norwegian is because it actually works.
Yes, it does. I believe they stole that design straight up. That just looked like a theft. I'm like, this feels familiar. It really does. I'm like, this feels like Carnival Excel. 6, 7, and 8 go all the way across the ship, and so does the Lido. Everything else is staterooms. You know the whole ship. That's Carnival's Excel class. So.
Yep, and the only Excel class that you have left to cover is the Jubilee.
That is correct. I would jump on that for the Star and for these free chicken wings that people are talking about on Street Eats. But me and Street Eats have a love-hate relationship. If you don't make it there while they're open, you can kiss the rest of the day goodbye. I believe that is a waste of space if they're not going to open it for longer than 2 hours. That's just my opinion. I mean, really, they're not giving people enough time to enjoy those 3 little, food truck idea things that they got. It's a great idea. They just need to leave it open longer.
Yeah, and that's what right down at the port, isn't it?
It's on the Lido deck. It's next to the Seafood Shack. The Seafood Shack,
okay.
Which is a paid thing, is open most of the day, and they got great seafood. But the Street Eats is the little grab and go bites, little trays of food about this big, and you can get unlimited trays. It's just you have to catch them open. And it's my experience is I've been on 2 Excel class ships, and they were only open in the early afternoon, and then that was it. You had to catch them open, and that was my issue with it. That's why I went to Blue Iguana so much and got burrito bowls. It's because for the lack of quick bites. But Blue Iguana is one of my favorites. But it does not top any Norwegian food that I've had. Norwegian food is far more superior to Carnival, in my opinion. It really is.
Yeah. Now, Eddie, when you went on Harmony, did you get yourself the key?
No.
No?
No. It's my first time cruising Royal.
So you didn't buy yourself the key?
No.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the first experience. We done Celebrity already once. Now we did Harmony once.
Mm-hmm.
No extra stuff. No expression or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
We just wanted to enjoy the ship first, Now, eventually, if I become a Royal Caribbean tripper, then I will see what else we can get ourselves into.
Yeah, because earlier in the day, me and Jeremy were talking about the key in comparison to faster to the fun.
I wouldn't do that either in Carnival. Why? What's the rush? I want to enjoy. I'm on vacation. I'm not in any hurry to be anywhere.
Right.
I want to enjoy the. And now when we do celebration in a couple of years from now, I just want to see what's out there. What's the bigger ship now? A lot of people are going to be out. What's the phone or whatever the deal? I don't care about any of that. Let me just give me my simple little interior room and let me enjoy it.
Exactly.
When I get there,
Yep.
The guys know that I usually show up earlier than everybody when it comes to restaurant stuff. First of all, I'm handicapped. It's going to take me a while to get there. And number two, I like to relax and sit up front while everybody gets there. So,
Yep.
sometimes Alice is doing something else while I'm waiting at the restaurant. So,
in about 3 minutes, who's coming on live, good sir?
this Papi Chulo, right after you here, Rob.
Okay.
I am popping live with Alice Lugo Studios and Bone Tide Travelers.
Oh shoot! It's a sandwich.
That's right.
Okay.
Lucky.
Yes, we're gonna go raid Eddie Lugo Studios right now, but thank everybody for coming in. We gotta go.
8:56. I didn't even realize the time. Holy shit!
We gotta go.
And I will see you all very shortly, either on Eddie's live, Alice's live, even my live. Who knows?
Hi guys, let me go set up. Whoops, sorry.
Thank you all for coming on out tonight, and
over there.
I will see you all on the high seas or wherever travels may take us. Until then, bye for now.